Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Rob of Rule2R Review. Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk with you about this weird story about Xbox Live and some of its features making it over to multiple devices, including the Nintendo Switch. So what we're talking about is this story coming from The Verge, where apparently they're reporting that there are some aspects of the Xbox Live service that are coming, like I said, to a couple of different devices, not just the Nintendo Switch. Such as like some iOS and some Android games. Xbox Live achievements are going to be available in some of those. In fact, I think that's even happened in the past, but now it's kind of rolling out in a larger capacity. And included in this apparently will be the Nintendo Switch in some form or fashion. And it seems like the idea is for Xbox Live to just essentially grow outside of just the Xbox console. I mean, if that's not pretty obvious, we have the Xbox brand, which is one of the three main console competitors, now having its reach get so big that it also reaches one of the other three competitors, being Nintendo and the Switch. And it's weird. It's definitely not a bad thing. I don't even know if I could call it a good thing either. I think it's just kind of a matter-of-fact thing, like this is something Microsoft plans on doing with Xbox Live. So with this story, there's really two things that I think about, two questions I ask myself and maybe want to discuss. One of them is, why would Microsoft be doing this? The other question would be, what does this all mean down the road? As far as why, I think what we're really looking at is just Microsoft, the software company, and not so much Microsoft, the owners of the Xbox home video game console, who is a competitor to Nintendo and Sony. And so Microsoft as a software company, which is really what they're known for, it's what their bread and butter is, it's how they became famous and huge and powerful and extremely wealthy, and it's even what they still do. The main focus of the business is not Xbox, as I'm sure most of you guys know. Xbox is one small facet of the company. Microsoft itself is a huge software, creator, developer, and distributor. And so this side of Microsoft apparently sees some sort of benefit to many aspects of Xbox Live as some sort of like unique, integrated, kind of friends list aggravating sort of gaming service, and they want to take advantage on more than one device of this service. And I think even per The Verge's report, one of the main aspects about Xbox Live that would even be reaching the Nintendo Switch seems to be the ability to have achievements and friends lists all kind of integrated into one, ubiquitous service that, whether you have your Nintendo Switch or your Xbox Live on, you could see a lot of the same people. Now, what's interesting to me, again, like I said, this definitely seems like Microsoft just trying to take advantage of what the Xbox Live service is and just increase its reach, which is, essentially, it's a good thing. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with that. But it's hard for me to still picture what this would be like and what the actual advantages would be. Because what is the advantage of turning on a game on your Nintendo Switch and I guess seeing your Xbox Live friends on this Xbox Live service? It's really hard for me to imagine it. I mean, I have the Xbox Live app on my phone, and I guess it would just be an app. And I feel like that would make this thing less effective if it's just an app that you have to open separate from a game that you might be playing. Like if you're playing Super Mario Odyssey and you're like, I want to see what my Xbox friends are doing for some weird reason. And so would you have to go to the home menu of your Switch, close out Super Mario Odyssey, select the Xbox Live app, and then open the Xbox Live app just to see, oh, my friend Bobby is playing Gears of War 4. Cool. I guess that's the end of my Xbox experience on my Switch. Let me close this out, go back to Super Mario Odyssey, and relaunch Super Mario Odyssey from the get-go. I mean, I would assume that they have some sort of more efficient plan, but right now that's kind of the only thing that I can imagine. Now, when we think about what this could mean long-term down the road, like I said, I have to imagine that part of this rollout or part of this initiative has to do something with crossplay and future crossplay, maybe between games on a Nintendo console and games on an Xbox console. And, I phrase it that way because I feel like in the next year or two, 2019 and beyond, we're going to start seeing new consoles from Microsoft, Sony, and even Nintendo. You guys have heard me say it. I'm going to stick to my guns. I think we're getting new hardware from Nintendo in the next couple years. And so I feel like this might be just really kind of planting the seed or creating the blueprint for it to be easier for future consoles and future games for as far as we know, for all time, to be able to play crossplay between Microsoft and Nintendo consoles. We already know that Sony's been the odd man out and the ones kind of with their head in the sand as far as crossplay, and yes, they're finally starting to, like, allow it with a couple of games, and I do think it'll be a more heavily used feature with the PlayStation 5, but as of right now, it's really just been Nintendo and Sony playing, Nintendo and Microsoft playing together well here. And so that's one of the things I think about as far as what this means down the road. Let's make crossplay easier, more ubiquitous, more well-known across the industry from gamers and consumers so everyone understands. You get a Nintendo console, you can crossplay with Xbox consoles and vice versa, and it's a great thing. The other thing is whether or not this has any sort of bearing on the console war or the competitive nature between Nintendo and Microsoft. Is this something where we could see kind of the competitive walls between these companies being broken down? And in some ways I could say yes, in some ways I could say no. I mean, I think the argument could be said that that's already started. I think, you know, over the last 2 years, we've seen Nintendo and Microsoft play nice together, promote crossplay together, be friendly with each other like on their E3 stages and stuff. And you just kind of have this sort of feeling as a gamer and somebody who follows gaming that Nintendo and Microsoft are like super cool with each other. They're buddies. You can almost picture Reggie and Phil hanging out, having a beer together, just talking about, oh, the video game industry is a bunch of crazy nonsense, isn't it? Oh, ho, ho, we're so rich, you know, or whatever the case. You could kind of picture that, whereas you picture Sony being like super elitist and hipster, kind of pompous, and just not willing to kind of play nice with those two guys. That's like, you know, we don't know how true that is. That's just sort of the fun outsider feeling, it seems like. And so when you see something like this happen, Microsoft willing to bring their Xbox Live service to Nintendo, and Nintendo willing to allow it, because that is another factor here, it just makes you wonder, are these guys just, you know, slowly becoming closer and closer as companies? And I mean, I would have to say just my random opinion here, but yeah, I would think that's true. It seems like these guys are just not super aggressive towards each other, and they're cool. But do I think that this is going to affect the actual console race down the road, maybe in generations to come? Are we going to see one of the companies get absolved by the other, or are we going to see them just work together on a console so that they're not two individual competitors, they just unite to become one? And man, I mean, while anything is possible, I would have to say that no, I don't really see that as something coming out of this. I just feel like each company is too proud, especially Nintendo, of who they are and what they do and what they've done and achieved in the past, and I'm sure that they enjoy having their own identities. So while they seem to be cool playing nice with each other, and Microsoft is cool putting Xbox Live on the Switch for whatever weird benefits we might get out of it, and Nintendo, again, reminder, also being cool allowing it, because this could have been something where Microsoft was like, hey, we want to do this, and Nintendo could have been like, no, you're the enemy, we do not want to promote your service on our device. But they're not. They're totally cool with it for whatever reason. And so I just feel like these two companies are going to continue to do what they do separately, but allow a couple of things to sort of be integrated here and there. Like talks about Banjo-Kazooie coming to Smash. I still think that that is a thing that could happen. And now we've got Xbox Live coming to the Switch. And again, we don't even truly yet know what it looks like. I talked about some weird ideas here, but who knows? They've got to do something to make it really simple and seamless and advantageous, because my fear is that it's something that happens and rolls out and no one cares and there's no actual benefit to it. So what's the point of getting an achievement on your Switch that's also good on your Xbox One, you know? Like I just don't even get that. So I'm curious to see how this thing rolls out and what it actually means, and if it even makes a difference or if it's just a bunch of nothing and it doesn't actually matter. So I guess we'll see down the road, but that's kind of all I have to say on that for now. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think about this? Is this the craziest, weirdest thing you've ever heard? Do you think it's really not a big deal? Do you think it means anything for the future relations between Microsoft and Nintendo? Whatever you think, talk about it below. This video is a wrap, and that is it for me. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Ro2R Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.